Welcome to the Journal Editorial Report. I'm Paul Ginko. Another big delay for President Obama's Affordable Care Act, with the White House announcing this week that it has decided to waive the law's employer mandate for yet another year, giving businesses with 50 to 99 full-time workers until 2016 to provide health insurance coverage. So what's behind the move, and what does it mean for the future of Obamacare? Let's ask Wall Street Journal editorial board member Joe Rago, columnist and deputy editor Dan Henninger, and assistant editorial page editor James Freeman. So, Joe, a big delay again. Now it's 2 years from what the law had originally said, where you had to provide health insurance. So what is behind this? Is it economics or politics or both?
I think it's a little of both. I think they want an alibi. You know, we're having this furious debate right now about how the Affordable Care Act affects decisions to hire, decisions to work, decisions to staff full-time or part-time. And liberals are saying, well, there's no effect whatsoever. The employers are saying there's a lot of damage in the real world. And the administration's actions are showing that the employers, I think, are right.
That there is
actual economic
harm. So let's put off the employer mandate for 2 years. But are employers really going to change their behavior if they know that they'll have to provide health insurance in another year?
I don't think it mitigates the damage to a great degree, and that's why it also speaks to politics. I think they're looking for an alibi. The other thing that's going on here is you're only supposed to qualify for Obamacare subsidies if you don't have coverage from your employer. So by releasing some of these medium-sized businesses from the mandate and saying to larger businesses you only have to cover 3/4 of your workforce instead of the 100% mandated by the law, they're creating more people who can flow to the exchanges to cram more people onto those and make the economics of the Obamacare exchanges work over time.
Okay, so this is related to the problems that the exchanges are having because they don't have enough young and healthy people. So this, they hope, are you saying we'll get more of those young and healthy people into the exchanges?
That's right. The enrollment figures that the administration released this week showed about 3 million signups so far. Now, how many of those are real signups and duplications or people who haven't paid yet remains to be seen. But the demographics of the exchanges, they need to be 40% younger and healthier people. What we're seeing is only about 25% in that group.
Wow. What about the legality of this?
Yes,
change?
right.
Small detail. Yeah. But a lot of people, including us, argue that if you look at the statute, it doesn't say, you know what, impose it in 2016, not after the end of 2013.
It's not in there. You can study all of those words in Obamacare and not find.
And there are a lot of those words.
Yeah, and there are a lot of them, and you cannot find the legal authority for this. And it's not just us. Even Democrats in Congress starting to ask the White House, can you really rewrite this whole thing without coming back to Congress? The logic from the Treasury, since the mandates in Obamacare, thanks to John Roberts in 2011, Supreme Court decision, these are now considered taxes.
Right.
So the argument comes from the Treasury Department saying that they have the statutory authority to mitigate the transitional effects of a new law when it imposes a big burden on taxpayers. Now, this is wonderful that the Obama administration is finally admitting that Obamacare is a big burden on taxpayers, but claiming that in 2015 it's a new law when it was enacted in 2010 is really a reach. And I think you're going to see more Democrats have a hard time backing this kind of argument, claiming, I mean, even assuming that their legal reasoning is sound, just the idea that 5 years later they can call it a new law, and they're basically saying that can go on even past 2015.
And Dan, the last thing the administration wants to do is go back and ask Congress to revisit the bill, change a little bit, because they know that they won't just settle for a little bit. There'll be a wholesale rewrite that the House Republicans will insist on. So they want to do this unilaterally by themselves. Are they going to get away with it?
You know, I don't think they are going to get away with it, Paul. I mean, consider the way we're talking about this. They have turned this Obamacare exercise into something that sounds like enlistments for World War II. I mean, you show up at the enlistment office, you look healthy, you're through, get on the ship, you'll find out where you're going once we arrive. Really. And this is really having, I think, a really bad effect on the reputation of the administration, its competence and its credibility, the president's credibility. That's not going to go away by November of this year when you have those midterm elections. This has put the Democrats in a very, very tough spot. And I don't think these decisions like we're taking this week by the administration is going to do very much to help that at all. This just won't go away.
But Dan, is there any legal remedy? I mean, you're talking about their electoral remedy, which is political accountability in November. But is there something legally? Can anybody sue? Can anybody have any other objection that would stop it?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a bit of a dilemma because employers can't say that they're being damaged at this point because they're not being damaged. They aren't really participating yet. And I don't think Congress has standing to sue in this instance either. So it's really become a kind of fire and forget law with the administration sort of sitting on top of the missile trying to guide it before it blows them up.
Joe, one other bit of news this week. The exchanges, another 1.1 million, I think, new enrollees. And again, now we're up to 3 million total through January. Administration hailing this as a big advance. What do you make of the numbers?
Well, every enrollment that they've announced, every bit of data that they've announced, they've hailed as great news. I don't see this as really great news. As I was mentioning before, about either 4 of 5 or 3 of 4 enrollments aren't really real. That's what the insurers are saying. And this is really a state.
They're not paying.
They're not paying, or they're duplicates. They're errors created by the exchange system. And this is really a state-by-state exercise, and some of these states are doing really bad.
All right, we're going to keep watching this. We've got a long way to go in this law.